Hi everyone, and welcome to week 13 of our creative writing class. I am your teacher, Hayleigh Worgan. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I really appreciate that you guys are turning in your work, and definitely those of you who have questions, who have emailed me. If I haven't answered you yet, I will be answering you later today. But I think I've addressed everyone who has emailed up until yesterday. So if you do have questions about the assignments, please feel free to email me and I'll be glad to help out. We are continuing on from last week. So again, this month is Poetry Month. So we're going to be talking a little bit about poetry and how you can make inferences from poetry, how you can look at different things that the speakers are discussing, that the poets are presenting through the speakers, and make connections to your own life. And that kind of will help you understand what the poet is trying to say if they don't just come out and say it, right? Which happens pretty often. With poetry, we do have to rely a little bit on the fact that we're all human and we experience a lot of different emotions. We experience a lot of different things in life. And so you want to be able to make a connection with your readers as a writer yourself, right? And to do that effectively, I think the best approach you can take is to read a variety of work from many different poets. So today we're going to take a look at two different poems. They're relatively short. They are in the PowerPoint presentation. The first one you may have already heard before. It's called This Is Just to Say. It's by William Carlos Williams. I have eaten the plums that were in the icebox, and which you were probably saving for breakfast. Forgive me, they were delicious, so sweet and so cold. Okay, so that's it. That's the end of the poem, right? I told you it was short. Now, let's talk about this poem for just a moment regarding inferences. Okay, so what do we know? Well, if we look at the very beginning, I have eaten the plums, that first stanza. So I have eaten the plums which you were probably saving for breakfast. We know that the speaker has taken something from someone. Perhaps that something is not of great monetary value. Sounds like it's just plums here. But it's something that the person treasured. And the theft has been discovered somehow, right? Now, in the next couple of stanzas, we get this long kind of apology, maybe? I guess you could say it's an apology. Forgive me, they were delicious, right? So the speaker goes on to ask for forgiveness, and then they place the blame on the stolen plums for being so sweet and so cold. And it's almost a slap in the face to the person they stole from, right? I mean, like, yeah, I stole your plums, sorry about it, but they were really good, And are they just sorry they were caught, or are they bragging a bit about what they were able to enjoy and this other person was not able to enjoy? Perhaps we're seeing a conversation here between siblings. Perhaps we're seeing a conversation here between two roommates who kind of get along, but maybe just things have been a little tense lately. It does kind of have a tongue-in-cheek feel, which by that I mean, it's got this, I'm not really saying I'm sorry. I'm telling you I did this thing, that's going to make you upset. And, sorry about your luck. That kind of tone to this poem. So this is something that has gone on in a home, which is, again, the theme that we're kind of taking these couple of weeks, the first couple of weeks of April here with poetry. So, moving on to the next poem. It's called On the Disadvantages of Central Heating. It's by Amy Clampett. Cold nights on the farm, A sock-shod, stove-warmed flat iron slid under the covers. Mornings, a damascene sealed bizarre of fernwork decades ago now. Walking in northwest London, tea brought up steaming. A peak-freen biscuit alongside to be nibbled, as blue gas leaps up singing, decades ago now. Damp sheets in Dorset, fog-hung habit of bronchitis, of long hot soaks in the bathtub, of nothing quite drying out till next summer, delicious to think of. Hassocks pulled in close, toasting forks held to coal glow, strong-minded small boys and big eager sheepdogs muscling in on bookish profundities, now quite forgotten. A farmhouse, long sold, old friends dead or lost track of, what salvaged in this vivid diminuendo, unfogged by mere effect, the perishing residue of pure sensation. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack in this poem, but I want to focus on two specific things related to inferences. So let's talk about what we know, okay? In the first stanza, the speaker is talking about cold nights. They mention a stove-warmed flat iron slid under the covers. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this kind of approach before, but some people still do this, and many years ago it was more common. You would heat an iron on the stove and put it under the covers to kind of help people get warm at night on winter nights. And this first part of the poem is likely discussing a key moment in the speaker's childhood where maybe this happened, right? The nights are cold and an iron warmed on the stove is being slid under the covers. It's really likely here that someone is actually caring for them. Maybe this is a mother or a grandmother or a father or a grandfather, and they're sliding that iron under the covers so that it's something to keep the feet of the child warm, okay? Strong-minded small boys and big eager sheepdogs muscling in on bookish profundities, now quite forgotten. So maybe you haven't heard the word profundities before. And if you haven't, that's okay. That's a key moment where you could go on dictionary.com, type it in, and get a good definition. And this word profundities, it means like a deep insight. So deep thought. So here the speaker is recalling some happier times. These included strong-minded small boys. Maybe it's their children. Maybe it's the speaker of the children. Okay, this is later in their life. Big eager sheepdogs as well. Now, during this time, the speaker felt as though they had gained some deep insight. Okay, but now it is long forgotten. And so these kind of feel like special memories of someone who has come to the end of maybe a very long and fulfilling life. Each specific stanza feels like something special from that person's life, and it's all examined within the context of various homes, places where they felt safe, places where key events happen in their lives. So, with that in mind, I would like you to do part 2 of the assignment we started last week. This will be due on Friday, April 16th by 11:59 p.m. So I want you to return to your answers from last week and construct a small poem from them. Each stanza should describe a different room, so you're going to have a total of 6 stanzas because last week we had 6 photos, okay? Now remember, the poet and the speaker of the poem can be 2 different people, right? So you want to write as though you've experienced these rooms in some way, which is going to require a bit of imagination because we've only seen them in pictures. So I'm going to give you an example in the slide presentation. And I'm also going to go ahead and include the photos there as well. In fact, yeah, I'll go ahead and quickly just show them here. Okay, so here is my example, and I wrote this in kind of an Emily Dickinson style, in that I don't really have capital letters anywhere except for in I and in a book title, because I thought that might be a little bit more interesting, and that's something you could choose to do as well, or not. Again, the only real requirement here is that you have 6 stanzas, and each stanza talks about the rooms that we have in those pictures. It addresses your answers that you had last week for that assignment. So you can go back to those answers and kind of pull from them to create this piece. Okay. Perhaps it is the cadence of all that occurs outside this room that makes me retreat to its arms. Every Saturday evening, book in hand and matches ready, I sing myself a lullaby. Tomorrow, the sun will creep into my daughter's bedroom, establishing the sense of doom only Sundays can accomplish, when the weekend is nearly complete and the homework has been forgotten. A pile of dishes awaits less than eager hands to restart the process of proving our existence by creating a mess to sit all week beneath a leaky faucet. Once, when I was in therapy, my doctor asked if I had read Walden to my children, after I asked if the stains on her sofa were evidence of all the people she cured. She does not know how big we dream beneath the map I hung one summer, how we drink tea on Friday nights, and plan our adventures on canvas by candle and Christmas lights, where I shield little hands from flames. Too often, we get lost in the sound of the world moving towards rebirth and forget to be grateful for the dusty memories of broken furniture and silence in the places we used to call home. Now, you might notice, if you look back at my answers from last week, that I've pulled very specific things from those answers to address these different stanzas. Even in the last stanza, I asked you guys, what would your character feel in this room? My character recalled an earlier home with his parents. So I kind of pulled that memory from those answers, okay? Also, again, my speaker is different from myself. I don't have children, so I kind of just came up with this kind of this fictional fake speaker to explore these different rooms in the house, the imaginary house that we've created here for this class. So I want you guys to try it. Use your answers from last week. Again, you need 6 stanzas. Now, if you go to my example, you'll notice that my stanzas are 6 lines long. Yours don't have to be that long. I would say at least 3 lines for each stanza, but you could do more, okay? So give it a try. If you have questions, my email is in the slide presentation. It will also be in the class notes for this week. Please feel free to reach out for me. Again, I will address your questions as the week goes on. We will have virtual office hours this Wednesday from, I believe this Wednesday it's going to be from 4 to 5. So I will post those in the class notes as well. Okay, I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you soon. Bye.